call the Ashland County Highway Department meeting to order. Can you hear us, Dan? Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, roll call.
Gary Mtg,
Here.
Martin Vitek,
Here.
Michael Berlin is absent. Rich Huber,
Here.
William Metzinger.
Here.
Okay. We need a motion to approve the agenda.
Also need to make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Rich,
I'll second it.
second by Bill. I just combining your names. Okay, any changes? All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. July 11th, 2022 meeting minutes. Your motion to approve,
I move we approve the minutes.
motion by Marty,
I'll
second by Bill. Any changes, corrections? All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Public comments.
I'm just here for that item.
Okay.
In regards to that,
Bicycle resolution for pedestrian. Okay, anybody online with it that we know of that wants to comment?
There's a couple people on here.
Yeah.
No, okay.
No, okay, none at the moment, okay. Commissioner reports.
All right. We'll start with employees. So we hired a full-time employee, Dylan Lauber. He was one of our summer help this summer. He was a good worker. I think we had 3 applications and we ended up hiring Dylan out of that.
See from Melon.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, other than that, we are at full staff now. The summer help of all are done for the summer, gone back to college, whatever. We're at full staff as far as employees. Just want to touch base. The employees they know about this wage study that's going on. They're anxious for results and to see what's going to happen with it. They're hoping for some increases. I know the board is looking at budgets and some increases and whatnot, but yeah, they are hoping to see some movement on that. So yeah.
If we just had an executive meeting on one day last week, and they had talked about that they're going to put 8.6% into the budget for salary increases, and it's going to be up to we're having a meeting on September 22nd, and it's going to be up to the finance committee and the executive committee. It's a joint meeting to see how we're going to divide that up, whether somebody gets 3% or 5% or whatever. We haven't got any figures yet. And that's, so how can you divide it up if you don't know what the figures are? So but
I'm really
anyway,
hoping-
September 22nd.
I'm hoping that, this wage study comes out with a step pay system instead of right now where they get hired at a wage and 6 months later, they're making the same as the guy that's been here for 10 or 15 years. And I think there should be a step, like a 10-step system that they work through, to do. And I'd really like to see that implemented before, at the first of the year if possible.
Well, I personally wasn't very happy with the report they gave us at the meeting. They were just kind of talking in general.
Gave you a bunch of stuff. It was lengthy.
And they said, what do you want to do? But they never sent us any of the stuff ahead of time.
No,
And, but I know in the clerk of court's office, last year, they had hired somebody and they started at the same rate of pay that somebody had been there for like almost 15 years. And it was the same rate of pay, and just, so, but does the highway department have longevity?
No, that all disappeared with the union.
Okay,
Back
no
in
longevity.
2010 or whatever it was. There's a couple guys that their wage is a little bit higher because of that.
One day.
1 or 2, Kim and
Oh, yeah, but he's got his-
yeah.
it's a different
But yeah,
system.
I mean, basically, yeah,
Mhm.
it's not a lot. It's, I don't know if it's in front of me, but it's a little bit. But So yeah, any other questions on employees? If not, I'll go into work schedule. Just go over some of the projects, the bigger stuff we've worked on this summer. County Highway E, we changed out. I don't know if we might have left one culvert in place that was in good shape. Otherwise, we changed out all the culverts in anticipation of the paving project for next year. So that's all completed and they're back to paved in again for now. We did a scrub seal project on State Highway 77, partially in Sawyer County, 3.5 in Sawyer, 3.5 in Ashland. We worked together with Washburn County. They actually have the machine that puts the chip on the top of the road. So we worked in conjunction with them through the DOT to do that project, and that worked out well. We've been crack sealing all summer. We did County A, N, F, GG South, and then a bunch on US 2 up from Ashland toward Bad River Bridge there. We reset some culvert ends down on 13 and then up on US 2. They're sections that are hopefully going to be in a project for the DOT in the upcoming years, but for now the ends were pulling apart and they were getting big holes in the shoulder and the slopes of the road. So we're fixing them up until the projects come through and replace them pipes. I don't know if anybody noticed, we've been doing some landscaping in the back of the shop here. We laid back, some of these hills were really steep and we couldn't mow them with a riding lawnmower. We had to do it with a push mower or a weed whacker, and so we laid them back a little bit, sloped them out so we could make them safer to mow and look a little better, be able to keep up on top of it better. That's some of the stuff we've been working on for the summer. Upcoming, we have some concrete repairs on US 2 on the east end of Ashland. We got a sidewalk to pour down for forestry. We are getting our trucks ready for putting the snow plows and equipment back on them, getting ready for winter, unfortunately. We'll be making salt sand here in October, and we're starting to do some brushing on the county highways.
Just two quick questions to go backwards a little bit. That sealing in Ashland and Sawyer County that you did, just because I've never, it's turned out really nice, but they seal it, put the gravel down, then it came back and sealed over the top of that.
So yeah, so this was called a scrub seal. So you've probably seen chip seals before. They spray a thin layer of oil on and then put the chip over it. A scrub seal, they actually put a heavier layer. They pull like a big bunch of brooms affair behind the truck and they put it down thick, and it's pushing kind of a wave of material, so it fills in all the cracks and slight indentations that'll fill. And then they put the chip on it, and then they let it set for a few days. You broom all the excess rock off, and then they do what's called a fog seal. Kind of just glues the whole surface together better. It get a lot less.
It really looks nice. I've been on
rock
a dozen
pull off.
times. And
Yeah. And we've done it, when we chip sealed GG 5-7 years ago, we did a fog on the top. They generally do it, not all the time, but generally they put a fog seal across the top.
Okay.
I think that was 2013 or
Might have been
14.
somewhere around there.
Yeah, like I say, it rides nice
Yeah.
and it looks good. So but I saw him do the first layer and then I came back, saw that second one, and I thought, well, that's a little different. Okay, so then the other thing is Butternut to Glidden, they've got stakes up everywhere and then arrows pointing towards each one for miles. Is that the state doing some?
They're surveying that. I don't remember. I don't have that list of.
But that project's not till like 24, 25 culverts 1 year.
Yeah, it's actually probably 28 and 29 or
Yeah.
7 and 8.
Well,
It's way out there.
Okay, because they've got all those stakes up and all their markings,
Yeah.
And I thought, well, are they ahead of schedule?
No, they're just doing the survey work on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that's some of the culvert ends we were setting down that way.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I say, I thought, well, maybe the project got moved up a year or two.
Yep.
Okay, and then Mellon is starting next year.
Madeleine is starting next year. I don't know if you noticed, they paved one of the side roads there down, comes out to GG. in anticipation of that being a detour route, and they want to start as soon as possible in the spring. So they paved it now. The plant might not even be running when they start doing some of that water and sewer right down the main street, right down 13. Mellon's gonna be a mess next year.
They're doing the school first,
Yeah, by
and
the
then they're
school
doing the
first.
bridge, and then they'll do uptown. the
Yeah.
rest of it, so.
Yeah, it's gonna be a mess.
When is Highway 13 supposed to be done then, that piece that they're working on now that they
South.
keep screwing around?
Oh, they're
with?
paving today again.
Yeah.
Supposed to be-
Yesterday, today.
When is, when
It has
is,
a completion date of this week, but
what happens if it's not done this week? They had good weather the whole,
yeah,
Oh,
so
summer.
Yeah, it's dry.
so it's they bought a brand new asphalt plant. They've had just many problems making it work. They're really struggling. Then they did a piece and it didn't meet spec. They had to take it back up. So they had told me Thursday that they should be done paving main line on Wednesday of this week, but then they still have to pave the shoulders.
Well, I hope
So
this paving of the shoulders this time, they don't put the grader blade down. Now, I understood that that was the first layer, but when you see grader blades for miles and miles digging up the base paved, the bottom paved section, I'm thinking the grader blades down a little too much on the pavement. And so I understand what they were trying to accomplish, but I thought, well, hell, who ground up all that brand new? Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the final layer,
yeah,
but there were grader marks for
yeah.
miles going up and down. that
are
road.
they gonna keep that strip in the center not done?
No.
See, well, I'm just saying that, you know, who okays it, who okays that when they're finished, that it's supposed to be a certain grade, who does that? Because in spots, they got like a center that's not done, you know,
Yeah, I
And
mean, they have,
Well, they started on both ends because
yeah.
they started on the Glidden side, they
Yeah.
did a mile or so, and then they must have broke down or something, and then I thought, well, I've never seen any project that they start here, they go back miles over here, then
Yeah.
like you say, they ground up all that brand new blacktop
yeah.
out of Mellon.
So yeah, I mean, the state oversight oversees it. They have actually Coleman Engineering hired as a oversight consultant on that project. So
So who tested the blacktop to see that it wasn't up to grade? Who did that?
Well, there's somebody there again today.
yeah,
He's
I
right-
would, if it's either the DOT themselves or else somebody from Coleman Engineering.
Yeah, there's a guy right behind a machine this morning again, measuring.
Yeah,
Because when I came through and got stopped, he was right behind a paver, so
yeah,
they're under a watch.
Well, what I couldn't understand is why they went so far with that blacktop when they had a new machine. Why didn't they test it right away instead of going all
Yeah.
that ways and then test
I
it?
know some of it was, you know, I think that the contractor told me there was a backup at the state testing lab.
Oh,
And they were waiting for days. They're like, we want to go, but their testing lab isn't getting the results back and they won't give us that go ahead to go. Then they had to take it up anyway. So
Yeah.
Is there part of 13 that they started, is part of it okay? And part of it is not?
you know, I haven't drove down there for a little
Just
bit
'cause I
since
was
they've
just
been
down
doing
there
the
this
finished
weekend.
paving. I haven't been on it.
Today they're starting on they're just, they've gone all the way to Morse and now they're coming back this direction. So
But was there a part of it that was already done that they were okay with?
I don't know.
Because they got the lines in there.
Well, those lines are all centered because
Yeah.
the center overlaps.
Yeah,
So when they
okay.
get the new layer on, they'll rerun it to the, because if you were going south, you were on the narrow side.
yeah.
But they worked Saturday,
Oh,
so
but it was raining. They had the whole damn summer, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah.
that's the part that,
Yep,
Where's their hot mix set up over in this?
Poppy
patch?
Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually when they're doing paving, it looks like a parade going by with those trucks, but it doesn't seem to be that many trucks.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's
Maybe don't have them.
so yeah. Any other questions on work schedule, I guess?
I do.
Yeah.
What about, do you have anything in your schedule for the boat landing on Galley Lake?
They're there today.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep, we are there today. Forestry's hiring us to do a little project. The Galley Lake boat landing has some knobs. I
Big
don't know
hump in
if
it.
they're logs coming up through it, big humps. We're gonna dig them out and fill them with gravel for now. We are probably gonna add a little bit of asphalt onto the end of the ramp This lake is really low right now, but we can get regular asphalt
Oh,
for today because the stuff they're mixing is that gooey stuff for down on
Gary
13.
should be happy.
So yeah,
Gary.
we are down there
Gary,
today.
Yeah,
Ronnie.
Ronnie.
Yeah.
The crew is down there today.
Okay,
so,
that's
yep.
good. Thanks.
No other questions on that. I'll go into construction. We talked quite a bit already about State Highway 13 projects, so I don't know if we need any more on that. Our County Highway GG paving project, they did the milling on that last week. And they're telling me as soon as they get done with main line on this, they will be working on the shoulders on 13 and they will be paving GG at the same time. So
Okay, so, and that's from Mineral Lake to Spire Lake?
it's about 1.5 miles north of Spider Lake. It's 5 miles
Okay,
from Mineral Lake, 5 miles. So
okay. Because somebody asked me the other day and
yeah,
it's been a week since I've been up there, but I'll get up there tomorrow.
yep.
And then the big projects from Mineral Lake to Clam Lake, that's how many, when is that?
Right now it's excuse me, scheduled for 2026 through that flat funding. Yeah.
Okay,
And we don't have funding on the north section yet at all, whether we do that in pieces with our county dollar as we can, like we are this year. We'll just have to see how that shakes out, but I've applied actually the 23 BIL money. They told us end of August, and then they said early September we should say which projects. I haven't heard anything. Be honest, I don't expect Ashland County Highway to get anything just because we got the money from County Highway E and they'll be putting it to other counties that didn't get any money. So
right, okay.
I don't expect anything out of it, but I'm monitoring to see where that all falls. But so yeah, that's my construction update. I guess that's
Okay.
my report. If anybody has any questions or comments.
What are they gonna do with that pile of blacktop across in what's the name?
Yeah, I don't know. I was really surprised they put it there instead of up at Poppy.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe they plan to set up there next year for the paving in Mellon. I don't know what I haven't asked them outright what their plan is, but yeah, they put all the millings in the pit. I don't know, it used to be Reuben Johnson,
Yeah.
much Northwoods owns it or Milestone owns it now. But
it's a pretty big pile.
it is a huge pile. Yeah,
So the piece that they're doing on Highway 13, they picked it up. How much of that can be used for the new part?
I don't know what the percentage, but they use a certain percentage in the mix,
Okay, so it's only like,
5% or something.
Oh, okay.
or, you know,
Seems like they were using a lot of that for the shoulders.
maybe a little bit higher,
Yeah.
higher percentage. Yeah.
okay. I was looking at the vouchers. Is it time to ask questions on them now? Or is that coming up?
Yeah, I guess it's not in
I
the,
see a cell phone, the second quarter, $75. Is it $300 a year for the people with cell phones? So it would be that if it says second quarter, is
you have
that
to ask Amber, but the cell phone stipend is 25 a month. So,
yeah, it would be, that would be $300 a year.
yeah. Yeah, you'd have to ask her exactly how that,
Okay,
Well, it's
So-
$75 a quarter already.
Yeah, $25 a month paid quarterly.
okay, so all of employees have a cell phone?
there's one that does not take it.
Yeah,
Okay, but other than that, everybody has a county cell phone.
They have a personal cell phone that we pay a stipend on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
and then
I
there's
just,
4 that
There's
have,
4 of us that have county phones.
okay,
and
but
they don't get.
And we don't
$25
get the
a month if they got
$25.
their private.
Yes. Yep. I guess any other questions on the
What about the grader? It says grader 312,900. Is that all one lump sum or?
so that was that,
I thought we were talking about putting a 5-year plan or.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we took out a loan. So there is a $312,000 deposit too. So we got the loan from
the
Another
money
State
comes
Bank.
in and then it goes back out to pay.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so and that obviously isn't gonna show on there, but we did get that deposited for that and the tractor. And then we paid for the grader. The tractor isn't in yet, so we haven't paid for that yet. But we did have what I did is I just paid here like a week ago. It's not gonna be on there because it'll be on, it was September, but actually it might be on there. I think it was at August 31st. Made September through the end of December's payments for the tractor and the grader. Instead of doing it monthly, and
Yep.
then I'm gonna do it.
So
one
what's the
payment a
monthly
year.
payment, or you do every month, or just quarterly or yearly, or?
It's set up as a monthly loan, but
Oh.
I talked with John Burrow and asked him if I could just give him, one payment for the rest of this year, and then every January do a payment.
Okay,
As long as we
okay.
we have the funds, that's what, so sort of doing it every month, but I guess I could probably look in there and
So
tell you
that's
how much it
approximately how
was.
much a year you pay for a month or a payment?
There's a
And I-
payment in there for Lulich for 3,000 something. I
Is there-
saw it.
and-
I was
Well,
talking
it was-
about-
That's not the Lulich, no, that would be the Northern State Bank.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Lulich might be the weed whacker.
Uh, We
Yeah,
rented,
the-
we rented a tractor.
The
from
rental,
this-
yeah.
this Summer for a while,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Well, I just wondering ballpark figure what we
Yep, I
pay
can
for,
tell you in
because it's gonna be for
one
5
second.
years, so.
Yeah, actually, I could go grab the amortization schedule too, if that is that we want, but like we paid for 4 months, it was 7,000 in Northern State Bank, and then 22. So this is for 4 months worth, for
Oh, okay.
September through December of this year for the grader was 22,000, and then 7,400 for the tractor
Oh.
payment. Because obviously we have to start paying it right away, even though we didn't get the tractor yet, we took out the loan. So we
Yeah,
can
and
hit
then
that
you're
interest rate.
obligated to pay, yeah. So-
Yep.
Oh, okay,
So then January, you'll see it again, and then it'll be for 12 months worth.
okay. Thanks.
You're welcome.
So 22, 23 equipment purchases.
So, yeah, in your packet, we put together this, it's 22 equipment budget. So I just wanted to go over where we're at. We bought a plow truck. We sold a plow truck. We have a pickup truck ordered. It's supposed to be in the end of October. We purchased the concrete pumper. A chipper, we put it out for bids. We got a bid of, I want to say 102,000. They don't know when it'll ever come in, and they raised the price to 140. So we don't know what we want to do with that yet. We're kind of, and the one truck, the 1 ton, the Ford canceled that order. It's not available this year at all for a 1 ton truck. And we did buy a track skid steer. So in our budget, we have, we had a $445,000 budget. We spent $326,935. So we have $118,064 left. I just wanted to go over it with you guys. What we would kind of like to do is look around and see if we could find a good used chipper, low hour chipper, and purchase that instead of going with this new one, because I mean, the price came in quite a bit higher than I had expected. And then they've said they're gonna raise it up to around 140,000 anyway. And I don't think it's worth it to pay that kind of money for a brand new chipper. So if what you guys, if you think it's all right, if we can find a good used one for, around that 100,000 mark, or
Do we have a chipper now?
we have a old one, yeah.
What kind of shape is it in? And
It's in pretty poor shape. It's getting pretty tired. What we are looking for, we've been renting one off and on. I don't know if you've drove down GG, we've been widening that out and cutting a lot of these big trees. And the new chipper we would be purchasing would handle a lot bigger tree than our old one does. So we could continue on with that without a rental machine. And then we did use our own last year. We ended up putting a clutch in it and different. I mean, it's just really hard on it. It's not built to handle what we're doing to it.
would you trade that one in or put it?
We
up?
would keep it.
We would keep it.
We would keep it.
Because it's not worth that much anyway.
It's not worth that much. It still works fine for the small stuff. It doesn't work for the bigger stuff. So
I have a kind of a related question. There on Highway 13, right by that supper club going between Glidden and Mellon, right
Mhm.
on the corner there. There's a bunch of trees that are all brushed out underneath.
You did that last fall with the
Oh,
front
yeah.
end
Yep.
thing, in
Yeah.
anticipation the trees will come down later.
Yeah.
The
when
trees
we
that
get a-
will come down like this winter project. or
If we get a chance this winter, yeah, we will cut them just by hand or whatever.
See, and that's where the DOT last year, they're the ones who basically control doing that.
Mhm.
And wasn't it last year that they nicely overfunded us?
Yeah,
So they actually helped pay a lot more last year.
They did.
It's their project,
yeah.
but yeah, all of that was
It's-
cleared with that Bobcat with the front
Right.
end thing. And then somebody will go back when they say,
Yeah,
They
and
got
it
the
probably
money.
won't be this year. We're running pretty tight on our state budget right now, so
yeah.
Okay, but the plan is to have those trees cut.
it is, yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we
Yeah,
just
and
cut
keep
what we
going
could with.
south. I've been calling DOT pretty steady. They know my name. I said, hey, this is beautiful, but the southern end of the county needs that cleared out too.
Mhm.
So yeah, I guess I'm just looking from you guys if you think it would be all right if we can find a good used chipper to purchase it. You know, we have $118,000 left in our equipment fund to
What did it cost us to rent the machine?
I think them are they $6,000 or $7,000 a month? Somewhere
That
around
was my
there.
guess, 6 or
Yeah.
65.
But the problem is like this last winter, there's no availability,
Yeah.
0.
Yeah.
So,
Can you put it out there and then see what we get back and then bring it back to us when we get some prices as far as if we
Problem-
decide to go to a used one
the
or?
problem with the used market is you gotta move fast. I mean, you know, if
Okay.
you find it for sale, you need to buy it today and not wait 2
Yeah,
weeks.
I can
It's
see
just-
that.
It's just gone, you know, the equipment moves fast. It's not like a new one you can get a.
But would a used one come from a dealer? Return to
Ah,
a dealer? Because
It's hard to
if-
say.
if
I mean, it
Joe County has a chipper they want to get rid of,
Yeah,
and we buy it and there's something wrong with it.
I mean,
And-
we might find one from a used dealer in Florida or Texas or who knows where, you
Right.
know? I mean,
Right.
it's not gonna be probably a new dealer. It might be something.
I just wondered, because would you have any kind of warranty even on a used machine?
Yeah, it just depends where
Because
you
if you
buy it
pay
from. or what it-
100,000 for a used machine and you get it and
Yeah,
it's already been beat to death.
yep.
I
It
mean-
could be a problem. You are taking a chance on a used piece, but
Yeah.
there's no doubt about that.
And then having the ability for whatever machine it is, that you can get somebody to fix it if there is a
Yeah.
problem.
Yep.
So you buy sight unseen then, in other words.
It just depends on where it's at, you
Yeah.
know, if we could find it somewhere close enough, we could go look,
Okay,
but. You know, I don't know. I mean, there is some, I know he's been looking a little bit. The opportunity looks to be a lot more in like Florida
oh,
than anywhere else, so. But,
How do we get it up here from Florida?
well, there's 2 options. We pay to have it shipped, or someone goes gets it. I volunteered, but.
Yeah, there's been a couple of volunteers to go down to Florida.
The entire cruise.
Yeah.
Would it be out of line to go ahead and get a used chipper for like $70,000? What we actually originally, but.
Yeah, I don't know if we'd find what we want for 70. I mean, I think it would have more hours than we'd want.
Well, but then too, depends on how old it is, because if somebody had a chipper, they paid $50,000 to $70,000 for it, and it's
Yeah.
used, we're not paying 100,000 for it.
Yeah,
But if they have a machine they paid 90,000 for or whatever, and it's only been used on Sunday,
Yeah.
then you still wouldn't pay 90,000 for it. I wouldn't think we'd pay 100,000 for a used machine that they didn't pay 100,000 for. I don't know how we'd find that out, but we.
I don't know how you'd find it out either, but the thing is they could have bought it for 80, 90,000. And now a new one sells for 140.
Right.
So
they still want the same price.
they're gonna be asking as much or more than they paid for it because that's what the market is, you know, I mean,
You'd have to really find out 2 hours.
yeah, hours and condition, I mean, for sure.
Are these diesels?
Yes, Yeah,
What would you like us to do?
I mean, I would like permission to, if I find a machine that I feel is a good purchase, a good deal, have the ability to buy it as, you know, as
Should we put a dollar amount?
it's up to you guys. I mean, yeah, I would hope to keep it around that 100,000 mark is what I'm thinking, but
But at 100,000, it's gotta be pretty unused,
yeah, got to be pretty
Yeah.
decent.
because,
Right, you could
I
have
mean,
got a
you
new
couldn't buy
one.
a 40-year-old machine that they didn't pay anywhere near
Yeah.
that. I don't care what.
Yeah,
they
I mean,
are.
the thing is that we had 70 in our budget for it.
Right,
We priced this out
2 years ago,
2 or 3 years ago,
2019.
and it was 65,000.
right.
No,
And now, when the prices came back this year, they were 102, and now they want 140. I mean,
Like
that's
102 in like May or June or something. wasn't
yeah.
it?
I mean, that's just
Yeah,
It's gone up that
it's
much
just
in the
it's
2 months.
crazy.
I would think you'd have to look at post condition hours, where it is,
Mhm.
because if, depending on how you have to get it up, you're shipping it or getting it.
Yep,
It creates another expense,
it does. Yes.
and I don't think you go over $100,000, and that has to be a pretty nice machine.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we would be looking for very low hour, and a decent machine.
mean,
So
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll make a motion that you start looking around and that you have the authority to go ahead and purchase something under $100,000 if it's in good condition with low hours. A bigger chipper.
I'll second that.
Okay, any other discussion?
what about shipping? We're gonna add that into the price, or we don't know for sure?
We don't want nothing from Florida.
Well, that's, I mean, if we get from Florida. it
They
costs us-
they just have pine and they don't have like what they don't have trees like us.
That's probably why they're getting rid of it.
But if he finds one for 100,000, it costs us 5,000 to ship it up here, that's 105,000.
100,000 total.
Okay, okay.
Sitting on the lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with the sticker still on it.
all right.
Okay, so motion's been made in second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
The other thing I wanted to talk about on equipment. So that last year, I don't know if you remember, we purchased a attenuator, which is a pull behind unit behind a dump truck that if somebody hits it, it kind of squashes up and it be flexible. We use it in front of the work zones. The state started requiring them last year on a lot of our work on the state highway. So we purchased one for around $28,000. The state came back this year now and said they wanted to buy that off of us. They wanted to pay for that, so we don't charge them an hourly rate for it. So they bought that, so we have that extra 28,000
So.
back from them.
Didn't you tell them it was like 35?
Problem
Prices
is,
have gone up
Yeah,
recently.
prices have gone up.
they know the price because
Yeah,
That's the only.
they
So-
paid for it last year.
So I was wondering, with some of them dollars, we're getting a big lawn around here anymore. We have a small 0-turn Kubota that's 3-4 years old, and we have an older John Deere standard tractor. It takes a lot of hours to get the lawn mowed, and that Kubota is, I mean, it's a few years old. It's getting wore, I mean, because it gets so many. I think I figured it out. I think we got about 80 acres of lawn right here, something like that.
Okay.
Got a couple prices on a commercial in the John Deere Z994R with a diesel. It's a 72-inch cut, $14,492.43. I was wondering about using the funds that we had got back from the state on that attenuator to purchase this mower, commercial mower.
Do you see those John Deere's, you see those electric ones they got now?
I have, but they're about 45, 50 grand.
The electric ones, the problem is the cost of the batteries.
Yeah,
If your batteries go bad, they
Yeah.
cost as much as a freaking mower.
I'm gonna look, I think there's gonna be some grant stuff coming up, look at getting a grant for one possibly in the future, but I don't plan to purchase one with county dollars.
I bought a small John Deere zero turn this spring. I had a hell of a time finding one. You know, I bought it over at Benoit there.
Oh,
And that must be a larger group, but the only way I was able to get one was somebody in Virginia, Minnesota bought one and canceled the order. And I happened to be there right at that point and I bought it.
Is the one you're using now, what's the decks aren't 72, are they?
No, it's a
50?
48 or
Okay.
52, I can't remember, but
72 will cut it down.
cut a lot
quite bit.
more, yeah.
Oh,
But it's just not built heavy enough for everything, you know, it's just taking a beating, it's getting
Okay.
wore out.
How
We
many-
paid about 5 grand for that a few years back.
How many hours does it take to cut the?
You know, they work on it for a couple days usually, but a lot of it's weed whacking too, so.
Mhm.
You know, the problem is with the lawn mowing is a lot of times it gets left because when it's nice and dry, we're out crack sealing and working.
mhm.
You know, they end up mowing on the little rainier days. You get a year like this, you don't get a chance, so you got to make time. Then it takes all this time, you know, so. And then now with them gone, you know, I have to have a full-time guy do it. If we can get it done a lot faster, it just leaves us more time to get work done on the roads rather than. Can't just let it go. It looks terrible, but
Would you get it this year then if we,
they have it in stock. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, we could get it right away.
do we have anything that we would trade in or no?
We'll probably get rid of that old John Deere, but I mean, it's probably worth $100 or, I mean, one of the kids hit the fence with it last year and tore the hood off of it. It's pretty
Pretty
rough.
bad.
Yeah.
So, what would you say it was 14?
14,492 and 43 cents.
I'll make a motion to that we purchase the John Deere.
The motion's been made, second.
I'll second.
Marty seconds, questions?
We're getting $28,000 from the state back.
Yes.
Okay, what are we gonna do with the other 13,500? Does that go into
Donate
the,
it to the county.
does that go into the,
Stays in our account, you know, it goes into our highway fund, basically, but.
okay,
It's coming up soon, trip to Florida.
Yep.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to purchase this John Deere. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Done with equipment?
We did sell some other equipment, so we could be asking about that too. We sold a dozer and a bunch of attachments that we never use, and we're probably, what did you say?
I mean, there's 67,000 on this sheet.
Yeah, we have 67 on that already from that truck,
Mhm.
so
This is at 85,
86.
that's 85,
Okay.
because there's a scrap on
Yeah.
it that'll go away from that.
So. Yeah, there is a little bit extra dollars in there, 85 minus 67, so.
What did you get for that? No, that was at 450.
Yeah, we got 36,000 something for it. Yeah, more than we paid for it 20 some years ago. Talk about selling stuff for more than you paid. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
does this money, when we sell this, does this go into a non-lapsing fund or something like that, or what happens to it? When you sell something like that, that's extra money we're getting in, but does it disappear, or does it go into the general account, or do we get to keep it, or?
Well, gain or loss on sale of equipment gets closed into our equipment fund, which you'll see then that's our equipment expense account, and that's where our revenues go to. So I don't know if you remember during budget time and you look at all of our years, some years that might be 60,000 ahead, 60,000 negative where we didn't recover that. So that'll go into that account, and if that account has a positive balance, that can be put into a fund account that can put towards equipment purchases the next year. So if we come out ahead, because if we do like this year, if this comes out 60,000 ahead, which we figured out where we are as of today. I mean, I don't have depreciation expense or anything in, so that whole account would be in effect. But we could have a good year and actually come out ahead in that account. And then that could be, but that's where it goes, and that's generally where you would like to, if you come out
is
ahead to
that
use
fund
it,
non-lapsing?
it's
the-
not.
Does it
Does
go
it
into
roll
that-
over to the
that
next
new
year?
fund or not, or where does it stay? in
You
the
put it
maintenance?
into like, some counties, it's not something we've done, but some counties will put it into like a kind of like our, be like our field small tool and our overhead cost. If that goes over under, then you put it as a liability or as an asset into like our balance sheet. And then if you, then you take out of there next year, because that's always, that rate is always changing up and down. So we could take anything that's positive out of there and put it into a account to be used. But it is not right now going into that. But if you look at our history, there's been, it's usually like at zero or not,
Yeah, but I still don't know
overexpensed.
what's happening with the money. Is, are we going to apply it to something else, or is it going to be rolled over, or we go use it for equipment already, or
Basically, it stayed in the highway fund and
Yeah.
and just,
stays in the highway?
Stay
It stays in the highway,
yeah.
you like the checking account, I guess you could say. But
Yeah.
as far as the accounts, you could, if that's something that you want to designate anytime that we come out ahead in that account, whether it's from the revenue sale of equipment or revenue on us using the equipment on county, state, local highways. If we get enough revenue on that, that would be a positive account. So we could come out instead of a expense of 50,000 for that year, you might come out, it was a 50,000 credit, which is obviously the wrong direction. So
Yeah.
you would have 50,000 ahead.
Yeah, but the reason I'm asking, because we're going to be starting the budgets and stuff, or we're going to be going through it.
Mhm,
And if we have $50,000 less that we have to raise,
mhm.
then you see what I'm saying?
Sure.
You know, that'll help the budget. But, you know,
Yep.
do we have that money or don't we?
And that's the problem. We don't necessarily know until I close out the year. So, when I'm looking, when we're doing
So that
budget,
doesn't happen until springtime.
yeah, so
Yeah.
when I start closing in February, then we truly know, because I have to put in the depreciation expense goes in there too. So that's why when we're looking at budget, like this year, when I presented it, that's all using everything through 2021. So using current year, you're always gonna be a year behind. We can always try it, like we're predicting now. And if we come out ahead this year, and that's why Matt was kind of talking, well, we could use some of the funds in that current year if it's needed because of, for whatever reason, or
So
at the
next
end of the
year-
year, if you come out ahead, we could use it for budget for 2024. Hey, in 2022, we came out 50,000 ahead. We want to use that instead of the debt levy or something.
Right.
I think
But-
that qualifies
but-
as non-lapsing.
Yeah, but technically, if this 50,000 or let's take the dozer, that was unanticipated income
Mhm.
technically. So in February, March, you come back and say, hey, we got $30,000, we didn't spend it, we have it. And then you come to a meeting and say, well, I'd like to buy A, B, and C. We could technically use that money there.
Mhm.
Okay.
Within
And
the
you
current
wouldn't be
year,
touching that year's budget
Mhm.
necessarily because it's kind of extra. Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
And that's kind of like what we just kind of did with the mower and then
Right.
attenuated,
Yeah,
like that's
okay.
something that wasn't anticipated.
Just-
Okay,
yeah,
so from a
totally.
budget standpoint, you couldn't touch that money until the following year. If it
Mhm.
was there next April,
Mhm.
it wouldn't really be available to really say, well, don't spend it. We're gonna steal, we're gonna borrow, we're gonna take it, whatever the term.
Yeah,
But yeah,
So I think you just make the budget out, and then if you have money left the next year, you can use,
right.
it's a plus for us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's-
And the same thing happens if it
Yeah.
comes out negative.
Yeah.
I was
yeah,
gonna
the
say, and the
same thing.
downside of that, or the good side is if we, like, if with this dozer, all of a sudden a big expense comes where we have like a $20,000 repair to a piece of equipment,
Yeah. it goes
then
the other
maybe we
way.
won't be so negative in that account this year, because that's happened too, where we end
Yeah.
up quite a bit. So.
yep.
Okay. Good, thank you.
Yeah, this just for let you know, I guess. So.
Okay.
So that's all I have for, well, just an update on the 23 equipment purchases. If you remember, we had talked about purchasing or ordering early a truck and a loader. And it went, you guys approved it and it went to finance and it got approved. If we did not do that, we prefer Western Star trucks. At that time, they didn't have their pricing out and they weren't going to until September sometime, their 23 pricing. The price, we got a couple, we had a Mac and an International and they were pretty high. So we just decided that, you know what, we're just gonna wait until normal, like we do when the 22 budget or 23 budget gets passed, and then we order our equipment. It just, we're kind of hoping, you know, things, if it's slowing down and going in the winter, equipment prices kind of calm down because everything was high. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna go higher, but who knows? That's anybody's guess. So we're just holding back on that for now. We did not pre-order anything yet, so.
Okay. Okay, county driveway permit fee?
So we've been asked to look at things that we could charge fees for. So we have a county highway driveway permit. We've never charged a fee for it. I've checked with some of the surrounding counties, some do and some don't. They're generally in that $20 to $25 range for a permit. Just wanted to see what you guys thought is on charging a driveway permit. We are going to I'm going to work with Brittany from GIS. I think she said she has time in October. Right now, I don't have any record of where driveways are per se. And I've run into a problem where you see somebody working on a driveway and they said, well, there was a driveway here, I'm just fixing it up. And it's like, okay, I don't remember if there was one there or not, or what was there. So she's gonna help me work on a program that we can use on our phones and map every single access point to the county highway. And then, you know, I can come later and say, hey, Marty, no, you can say, well, there was a driveway here. Well, no, there wasn't. We have it mapped. You know, you need a driveway permit.
Okay, so currently, somebody calls up and says, hey, I just built a house on parcel A off of County Road. And you would help put that culvert in a driveway?
No, we don't do any work. Mainly what the driveway permit for is it's looking at two things, essentially safety, you know, that's not too close to a hill or corner that we think there's a safety thing. I don't have one of them permits. There's a little chart that says if the speed limit's X, it needs to have so many feet of sight vision. So the first thing we look at is safety. Then the next thing we look at is I go and look at every single one of them and decide that needs a 12-inch culvert, a 15-inch culvert, a 24-inch culvert to make sure that it will handle the water flowing down the ditch.
Questions. When the road is repaired on the county road
Mhm.
and they replaced the culverts the last time, the county paid for those culverts to be replaced in driveways.
So the county and the state are both the same. That if they change the drainage, say they deepen the ditch or change the ditch, they will generally during a project pay to fix that culvert.
Okay.
If there's no work being done, that is your culvert. You are responsible for any maintenance. If it rots out and needs a new one,
Right.
it needs a new one. That's your responsibility. But if it's possible some culverts get replaced in projects.
Okay, and so if we've charged a fee for a new culvert or
A new
whatever,
driveway.
is that, if $25 covering your office costs?
It's just covering a little bit of cost. You know, I go look at every one of them. I drive out, take a look at it and decide about the safety issues and the culvert sizing.
Okay, so that's my question, is $25 gonna cover?
It's not really probably, but
But you get nothing now.
you get nothing
Right.
now.
Yeah.
And
It seems more of a way to record when the rider.
Yeah,
going
right,
more
yeah.
than anything. Yeah.
Okay,
and then the other thought is, and I talked to Dan about this also, you know, we do quite a few of them on Madeleine Island. Should we charge them more to cover a ferry fee? I mean, a ferry fee is $55 to go there and back with a pickup truck.
I would think so.
By charging a fee, is there any extra work for you?
No, I still have to do
Would
the
you
work.
still have to go over to Madeleine Island?
Yes, I need to put my eyes on every one of them, mainly for that culvert.
So
site.
you're getting nothing to go over to Madeleine Island and
Right
it's
now, I'm not.
costing you money.
Yeah.
Okay, and here's why I want to be careful of that, because we're gonna hear the same argument coming up on a different issue. Madeleine Island's gonna state they pay 20% of the county taxes.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna say that because the residents, I'm not saying it's not fair to do that. But the argument from them back to us is we pay 20% of the taxes in the county, so why are you charging us another fee? I understand it and would support it, but
Why are we paying double when the rest of the county only pays, if they pay $25, why are we paying $50?
But
Yeah.
I think the people that live there pretty much understand about ferry fees, you know,
okay,
they pay them to their contractors, to
Yeah.
anybody that comes
Okay.
to work. They have
Plumbers
to,
and everything else.
they
yeah.
have to pay a ferry
just-
fee
as
to them
long as
because
we-
that's,
if we
it's
do
extra,
it-
it's extra cost.
okay.
I don't think it's
So if you
anything
do
that they're not
25 for-
used to.
Anyone in the mainland,
And then County Highway H,
and then anybody on Madeleine Island,
Plus
you
a
want to
ferry
do
fee.
75?
It'd be 75 or 80 bucks.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
75 would basically cover a ferry fee.
How many are we talking about on Madeleine Island and how many are we talking
We
about?
actually do more on Madeleine Island than we do anywhere else.
100%.
Okay, so
Why don't we just?
It's not like we do a lot a year. We probably do half a dozen to a dozen, you know, I mean, total
On Madeleine-
countywide, and probably half of them are on Madeleine Island or better. Yeah.
Why don't we charge $50 for them all? You can't, you know, it's like, you're putting a driveway in, you're only doing it one time. You know, it's not like you're paying it every year. And if we're paying you to go out and look at it anyway, you know, you must, by the time, if it's down by Butternut, you must have $50 worth of money in it
Yeah.
because you're running down
The
there.
thing is, I mean, on anything, I need to look at the roads that anyway, you know, I mean, I usually tie it in, I'm gonna go look at
Yeah.
a few things and culvert
I-
or this or
I
that,
get-
or, but
I guess I
So-
would rather see you charge the same price for even Madeleine Island compared to the rest of the county. Just because then Madeleine Island doesn't feel bad.
Yeah.
And if we don't have that many and you're doing it for nothing now, if we went with $25, that's $25 more than what we had. You know, but I can see the people on Madeleine Island saying you're picking on us.
yeah. So, I mean, whatever you guys decide, I mean, it's,
What?
Dan wants it to go to full county board for final decision, so you.
oh, then we
you
know it's coming up.
you needed to be able to defend it at that end also.
Yeah, because I know the issue's coming up on another one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Madeleine.
Yeah.
that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, that's
So-
gonna be, yeah.
But I do, you know,
I mean,
What do other counties charge?
most of them are at, that do $25. Some.
Well, if he's doing
some
it for nothing,
do
and he has to
nothing
go
and
over
some-
there anyway.
you want to make the motion.
So just so I understand, this would require every new driveway that to have a permit.
Yes,
On
So-
county trunk highways.
county trunk highways, yes.
And there's any penalty if somebody puts one in without a permit? Are
We do not have one.
I thought there was a state statute you just found now or something. There, I
That wasn't,
thought there was something, because.
I mean, we have, yeah, we have the opportunity to just take them back out. They can't just put in somebody just put in 4 driveways off of N. And no permits or nothing. I made him pull them back out because he was using these little tiny plastic culverts and I mean, it wasn't
Oh,
at all
So you
to
wanna
a standard, you
do
know.
it uniform?
Do we wanna, to me, I would like to see it uniform, but I would like to see how are people gonna know about this? That we require this, how are they going to know?
We could-
So, I mean, it's one of them things, I believe zoning tells them that they need a driveway permit when they go to get a
Okay.
building permit or whatever, but
Or they call here and
they call
ask.
and ask, yeah.
Okay, are we gonna put into the motion, like if there's a penalty that they put it in without a permit, like,
That's up to you and I'm fine
You
with
know,
that.
Well, if you build a house and don't get a permit, what is it? Like double or triple the permit fees after the fact? It's.
Well,
they're-
what would happen to those people those 4 culverts, what happened if you told them, you had to pull those culverts, they said, no, you don't have nothing till you can,
Yeah, I got a state statute. I control the right of way. I can dig them right out.
yeah, but it costs us money then.
Yeah.
That's what I mean,
Yeah.
that isn't right either.
No,
I guess after hearing all this, I'd like to make a motion that we charge $25 for a private driveway on a county, or I guess, yeah, on a county highway. And if they do not, they have $100 for each violation.
okay,
You know, then this way, if the zoning lets you know, and if the county highway department lets you know that you need a permit. But I would like to see it $25 universal, because we're getting nothing on Madeleine Island anyway.
Okay,
okay.
there's a second,
I'll second
other discussion? So a $25 universal driveway fee and $100 penalty if they don't get the permit.
Per violation.
Okay, per violation.
So if
Okay,
they put in 4 of them without a permit, $400.
Yeah,
okay,
Plus, if they'll still need a 1 permit.
plus the 25.
Yep.
okay. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
it. I
Opposed? Motion carried. We could inform Matt that he can only go to Madeleine Island when the ice road is there.
I ain't gonna tell them that. They probably don't plow some of those roads.
Okay, non-metallic line fees.
So to put a paper in your packet here.
Can I have one more question about Madeleine Island at this time? What are we actually spending a year on Madeleine Island as far as the highway department?
I don't have it off the top of my head.
Just
Probably.
kind of roughly, are we paying a part-time of a person? Are
Yeah,
we giving
I
them
would
X amount of
say-
dollars?
probably in that $40,000 range, but I don't know exact.
Yeah, I can go look. You wanna like, what we pay to the town of La Pointe for their, just their maintenance, not ours.
For Ashland County, how much does Ashland County pay for
Madeleine Island.
county
Yeah.
highways on Madeleine Island?
Oh, so our expenses also, not
Yes.
just what we pay.
Well, no,
Yes.
what we pay
What we
basically what we pay the town to do our maintenance over there.
No, he's asking for all
Oh,
Ashland
total?
County though.
total for what Ashland County spends and what Ashland County gives the town of La Pointe.
Okay, so you
Okay.
want some broken
And,
separate.
and just, you know, so just so you guys are aware, town of La Pointe, when they do their maintenance, they will send us a detailed quarterly what maintenance they did, and then Matt reviews it and calls. So we do get a quarterly invoice. just
Okay, so it's different every year?
Yeah.
different every year.
Okay.
So if there's a higher, like, winter maintenance, like if our higher winter maintenance is up,
Mm-hmm.
theirs is gonna be up. And then,
It's
like-
it's just like us working on the state. We charge the state time and materials to work. The town of La Pointe charges us time and materials for the county highway.
Oh, okay.
It's not a set fee, it's actual cost.
but I can give you a total cost.
Is
for
it
county
just,
highway.
is it roughly?
Yeah.
Okay,
No, I can
I
give you
would
exactly.
like that, because there's other issues with the town of La Pointe coming up. And this way they can say, well, you do this for the rest of the county, but when it comes to the town of La Pointe, you don't do nothing, you know, and that's why I wanted to know, because there's gonna be some other issues with the town of La Pointe coming up. And
I can get that to you. I mean, if you want, I can go